All right. Welcome to the Ultra High Net Worth Clients Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Broadhead. We started this podcast as a way to create a central resource of the best private wealth advisor practice growing tips shared by the most outstanding advisors in the industry, of which our guest today is definitely one. These outstanding advisors agree to be on the show and provide a ton of value for free, all in the hopes that our audience might learn from their words. My father was a financial advisor, and financial advisors are the main client we serve, so my marketing agency's mission is to help every financial advisor grow their business in an effort to help the world become more financially secure. Today, we have the rare pleasure of talking with an incredible private wealth advisor and managing director of Sienna Wealth Advisory Group, which is a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services, LLC, Matt Mandell. Matt, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. Thank you so much, Chris. Happy to be here. Happy to talk about this wonderful business and this amazing team that we have going on at Ameriprise.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit about myself. I've been in this business almost 20 years. I grew up in Long Island, New York, and got a bachelor's degree in finance, a minor in economics from Penn State University, and then started my practice right out of college. There are a lot of us that did that at that time. A little different today, maybe, but started my practice in 2005 with Ameriprise, and
Wow.
uniquely have not switched firms in almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much you hear that these days, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's probably fairly rare these.
Yeah. No. I,
Um,
I think I'm definitely the person to tell you that that is extremely rare. We've interviewed 130 plus advisors, maybe like two of them. So you're a one percenter, my friend.
yeah, I mean, when you start at the right place, you don't have to go anywhere. That's kind of how I
There
feel.
you go. There you go. Awesome. So it sounds like you went to school for this, and this was something you were really interested in. My dad tells me the story of how he got into the industry all the time. He's like, I graduated with a finance degree. I went to a firm. I was like, I'd like to be an advisor, and they go, you're too young. Come back in 10 years. So we went and sold cars for 5 years and then came back and they're like, okay, you've balded a lot. I think people will let you manage their money.
Yeah.
How did you you're not bald now and you obviously weren't bald then. How did you get people to trust you, a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, what were you, 23 when you started?
Yeah, probably 22. Uh,
22. How'd you get traction, man? How'd you get them to work with you?
yeah, certainly not the easiest to get people to trust you with their wealth and their retirement savings when you're just out of college. As far as the
Hmm.
baldness goes, I'm working on it. Not there. Certainly,
Hey
certainly in
man,
progress.
it's sweet.
Yeah,
Cut my own
easy
hair.
in that department, right? Low maintenance. Coming out of college, it was a lot of hustle, right? So in my mind at that point, um, I knew what I wanted to do because I did intern for UBS for an advisor, unpaid, between junior and
Mm.
senior year of college, and I said, you know what, this is the time to take the risk to build the business, to be on a commission based, uh, not a large salary, and I saw it as an opportunity. My parents, my mother was a teacher, and my father was a financial manager for um, Bloomberg towards the end of his career, but other firms as well, and kind of felt like it was a good mix of both sides there. And though my father thought I was a little nuts for turning down some other more corporate finance jobs or banking, um, and doing this, one of my goals, I guess, was to prove him wrong, which didn't
Hmm.
realize he was quite wrong after a couple of years, but um, it was a lot of hours, a lot of grind, like some other
Mm.
guys that I've
Hmm.
heard on your podcast. Nothing comes easily. So,
No.
we were in '05 to for the first few years of the career, it was tremendous amount of hours worked and tons of time on the phone, hosting events, calling corporate leads at the time. working the natural market and people who I knew, and even calling friends' parents, which was super uncomfortable. And it was more being able to talk the talk, right? More
Hmm.
being able to show the knowledge and not how I looked, but what came out of my mouth, and how I presented myself. So, once the meetings started moving, and most of them at that point were in person, then I think, whoever was on the other side of the table realized, okay, this is a professional. Um, I was always wearing a suit and a tie, and spoke as if I'd been doing it for longer, I suppose. I caught on quick. I
Hmm.
mean, I had the background in finance, just with the education and the internship and contacts. And there were a lot of people that chose not to go with me at that time, but certainly I built a quite a nice business in the first few years of the career organically. So it
Hmm.
didn't seem to be as big of a roadblock as I thought it would be. And at that
Hmm.
time we had great leadership, great training, still do, but their point of view was it's only a roadblock in your own head.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I went with that mentality. It worked out. And now,
Yeah.
I a little different today. I mean, now it's certainly a better decision to join a team rather than go it alone and try to build a business from scratch. But obviously, times have changed quite a bit.
Hmm. Awesome. Lot to unpack there. So, was there one client that finally went with you, or like a handful of clients? You just kept pounding that rock, and finally someone was like, "Okay, fine." Like, tell me how that went down.
There was no waterfall of clients where I got into one group of people. My partner, yes, and we can get into that later. But for me, because I didn't have a partner till 2009. Really, we kind of worked a little bit in
Hmm.
08, but 09 was really when we formally partnered. It was clients from all over the place, and it was all of them getting really close with them and taking them out to lunch, inviting them to events, dinners, happy hours, meeting their friends. And there were certainly a few advocates, right, that referred more than others, and those are very helpful. But certainly, certainly in the beginning, I can think of a few. Can't name names, but yeah, there were a few people that did refer several clients. It may have taken years to do that, right? But
Hmm.
consistently asking for introductions in a polite, not too aggressive way, and conveying that that's how we're building the business, and inviting them to things and having them bring guests, and kind of defining what we were looking for in terms of clients. That mattered, and there were some advocates along the way.
Hmm. And were those advocates family, friends,
No,
colleagues?
no, they were stranger clients who became who became like, it's very close, became more like friends.
Hmm.
Some of them I still, most of them are all, I would say all of those people are clients today.
Mm.
And we see them regularly. They come to events, we talk, or we're friends on Facebook. And um, it's been a long time, but in the beginning, there were certainly some more influential people in the business.
Hmm. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned adding a partner, or creating a partnership in 2009. Can you talk about your decision to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because I never thought I would have a partner. I never thought I
Yeah.
needed a partner. I
Hmm.
was out, to run my business myself. And um, there was an advisor who started the year before me, who was kind of the top guy in his class, so to speak. Was really successful. I was among the top of my year, and he had approached me over the course of a couple of years about, hey, maybe let's collaborate or do some things together. And I was kind of, uh, I was not open to it in the beginning.
Mm.
And then what ended up happening was, um, Ameriprise at that time started promoting team practices in the employee channel. And Also, practice acquisition became an idea that we hadn't thought about before. So what we did, which sounds kind of ridiculous, is the two of us started. Well, we bought a practice, which was the bottom end of another Ameriprise advisor's book, which was, and you're going to laugh at this, 200 clients and $2 million in assets. All right,
Like
so
total?
total,
Wow.
total, yeah, ridiculous. So
Wow.
we said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this. It was it was a tremendous amount of work, and these clients were scattered. They weren't just in Long Island; they were in Brooklyn and Queens and Manhattan and Staten Island. I even went to see a couple of these people. So they're some of the clients that this advisor who was out in Long Island, kind of far away from the city, didn't want to work with any longer, didn't feel it was a good fit. And we said, you know what, we got the time. I was 25 and he was 26, and we probably had 100 clients each. And we said, let's go and see what we can make of this. And if it works out, at least it's kind of a dating period where we're not a formal team yet. So we'll collaborate. We'll try to
Hmm.
create systems and efficiencies that work and see how we work together. And it worked great. And we did it again about a year later, that was like 20 clients and 2 million in assets. So it was a little better deal. um, but that was when we really formally teamed up. We partnered. We realized that there was quite a fit. We did have complementary skill sets, but we're talented in a lot of different areas, and our clients had very good practices. And we figured, hey, we can share staff, we could do marketing together. And,
Hmm.
he was a little more analytical. He didn't like doing public speaking. I was, strong at public speaking and hosting events and stuff like that. So we did find certainly, skill sets that worked. And as time went on, we divided them even further, but it was similar values. Most importantly, it was always put the client first. Don't worry about how we're getting paid. Do the right thing. Work very hard. Work harder than everybody else around you.
Mm.
And we had the same long-term vision of what we wanted for our lives and our businesses. So
Hmm.
it's been a wonderful marriage. know, I have a wife of 11 years and a couple kids, and he's married. He's got 3 boys. We got 5 boys between us. So
Wow.
maybe there'll be future Sienna Wealth Advisory Group members. Uh, but certainly we're each other's work wife, if you will,
Yeah.
and spend a lot of time together. But it's worked unbelievably. We
Hmm.
figured out how to make 1 and 1 equal 10. Um, and the goals are large moving forward as well.
That's amazing. So, for any advisors, or even entrepreneurs, business owners out there listening, who are considering a partner, like it sounds like you guys walked before you ran, but were there any other kind of pre-commitment considerations? Green flags, red flags to ensure this? I mean, it's what, 16 years now?
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing to think about. But yes, um, I think partnerships, they don't always work out in this
Hmm.
field and many others. You have egos, and for a while we said, oh, we don't have egos, and that's what makes it work. And that's not true. Everybody in this field and people in sales that are successful, everybody's got an ego. It's the ability to put that to the side for the greater good. It's the ability to resolve any conflicts in a peaceful way. And with the two of us, we haven't had a fight in the 16 years that we've been partners.
Hmm.
Certainly there have been things that we haven't agreed completely on, but with us, when somebody feels really strongly about something, the other one's going to give in and roll over and accept that, you know, I'm going to accept this way because the other person feels so strongly about it, and nothing is worth a big dispute, right? That's ongoing. It's for the relationship is important and kind of comes first there. So we've been able to settle any of those, very peacefully. There haven't been any ongoing issues. So that's super important with any partnership or team. Um, the culture has to be there, and there has to be an agreement that no problem can become too large.
Awesome. And what do you think like the biggest advantages or benefits or drivers of growth have been from having this, high performance, consistent partnership?
Well, there's been a lot of things that we've done, especially the external practice acquisitions that I couldn't have done on my own. I'd have to have lots of additional staff. The So we did there. We've grown organically for our whole career, but there's been a lot of inorganic growth as well. And we made our first decent acquisition, I would say, in 2014, and then another in 2018 that was much larger, and then the largest in 2022. So having a partner who is also seen as an equal, we're certainly able to collaborate and share ideas um, and create a vision. And we've hired junior partners and additional staff to help build out the infrastructure to be able to handle things like acquisitions. Before we even made the larger ones, we built out the infrastructure. So certainly, if it was only myself, there's plenty of practitioners where there's one guy on top and builds out a huge team. I think in our position, it's been really beneficial to have another person to collaborate on the big ideas and the strategic planning and helping run the practice and collaborating with staff. It's it's really been a strength of ours. And when we were going out to buy these practices, it was, hey, listen, there's in our situation, we refer to ourselves as two CEOs. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, one highly qualified advisor and a bunch of junior staff. There are two people at the top who can work with the top end of your book and make sure that we retain the assets and run the practice the right way. So, it's been a big benefit in that department. And it can also be a lonely business at times. And, you know, we're certainly never lonely, as far as talking about how things are going and picking each other up after failures and planning for the future, staying excited and engaged.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So, is every client in the firm both of your clients, or how does the division of clients work?
We have our clients that each of us service directly, which is
Mm-hmm.
probably, at this point, maybe 140 a piece, 150 a piece, that we're personally servicing. And then there's many more, hundreds more, that are being serviced by another advisor on the team. So they could have been clients that we brought into the firm, but we're not personally servicing. We're focusing our time on the higher leverage activities running the business. My partner Brian is more of the CIO and focuses on the investment planning piece, as well as servicing his clients, who many of which are engineers and highly analytical folks, which he fits perfectly with. And myself, I'm doing a lot of, in addition to the personal client service, it's running the team, it's leading the meetings, it's determining strategy, it's resolving any issues that are happening. So it's divide and conquer in that way, where it's more
Mm-hmm.
CEO tasks and CIO tasks. Um, and there's certainly many clients we can't service them all ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
it's bringing in new talent, training those people in different roles, making sure everybody's in the right seat. So certainly plenty to think about from that standpoint, and creating a business that's incredibly efficient and positioned for growth.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Awesome. So, I am very curious about the first acquisition you mentioned, the 200 clients with $2 million between them. All right, first of all, where did you find that deal? And second part of that question is, did many of those clients within that deal did they become, worthwhile clients?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked about that deal in forever, but we did go to management at that time and said, hey, we're looking to um, acquire, if that's able to be done. And it was probably one of the first acquisitions in this platform, but because it was 2008, early 2008.
Hmm.
So did some of them become larger clients? Yes. Many of them, no. Uh, I
Hmm.
mean, there's there's probably a lot of clients in that group that are still in the practice but aren't serviced directly by myself or Brian. Um, some of them are no longer here, and a couple of them, I definitely still service myself today. That became
Hmm.
much larger clients
Hmm.
because of a variety of factors. You never know when a $10,000 client can become a couple $1 million client. It can happen, not super common, but
Hmm.
it does happen, and I've seen it. So they can inherit money. They can sell a business. They can have all of their money locked up in a 401(k) plan and then leave the job. So it can be rolled over. There's many things can happen to create wealth for somebody and make it a good opportunity for the advisor. So,
Hmm.
we
Yeah.
don't generally like to fire clients. We like to build the infrastructure so that we can keep them and bring on smaller clients when they're referred to us, and kids and grandkids of clients. Um,
Hmm.
you know, Obviously our focus is on the higher net worth and ultra high net worth, but we haven't set a firm minimum to say, hey, if we have a $10 million client that refers their grandchild who wants to open up a Roth IRA, I like to be able to say yes, because the
Hmm.
money does trickle down, and those people do need advice, and the large client certainly sees a lot of value and appreciates the advice that goes to the kids and the grandkids. So we like to be the family advisor in that way.
Hmm.
The infrastructure
Awesome.
needs to provide for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Getting that second, third generation, fourth generation in there. Awesome. And then you mentioned, the partnership kind of opened up at least the chance to find acquisitions. Do you um I guess how do you and your partner like find acquisitions?
I mean, that's about playing in traffic and marketing to
Mm.
other people and centers of influence, accountants, attorneys, other advisors, meeting folks, and we changed our narrative somewhere around 2013 or so. When we were doing any networking, it was, you can certainly send us clients. We love new clients, but we'd love to meet advisors who are older than us, and we kind of made it a joke because we were pretty young at the time.
Hmm.
And still are relatively in the business. We're both around
Yeah, you are.
40-ish.
Yeah.
So, that's another advantage or arrow in the quiver when we're marketing to clients too. We'll be around for a long
Hmm.
time, but advisors,
Yeah.
there's a long runway where we're going to be in the business, and most advisors are significantly older. But we changed the narrative to say, hey, we'd love you to refer us to other advisors, which people hadn't
Mm.
really heard before. To say, hey, we want to meet advisors who are older than us, that are maybe closer to retirement, that are in their late 50s or 60s and or 70s, because people can hang out in this business for a long time. And we want to introduce ourselves to them and see if there's an opportunity for succession planning. And we made a succession planning brochure even to market towards other advisors, and it worked. I mean, that first tiny little practice was found by Ameriprise management. They said, "Hey, do you want to buy this?" Because some other advisor was looking to get rid of it. But the majority of the rest of them were, self-sourced, or we had the connection already. I mean, the big acquisition that we made in 2018 was an advisor that we bought 20 clients from in 2009, um,
Mm,
who became more like a friend of ours, and wanted us to come work with him along the way. But we didn't want to work for somebody else. And what ended up happening was we ended up buying a large piece of his business and merging, and we became his succession plan. Uh,
mm.
so another one came from a business broker who, was part of a networking group of Brian's. You got to play in traffic if you want to acquire businesses. You got to be out there meeting people, networking, and talking about what you want, the people that you want to meet, and holding those meetings. Um, One was just a phone call that an advisor, a junior partner of ours had made, who's calling other advisors. Like, you don't know, but you got to be out
Hmm.
there active, looking for it.
Hmm. Awesome. Awesome. So you mentioned, the best way to find good practice acquisitions is playing traffic. Is there traffic that is more beneficial to play in than others? I love that
Yeah,
question.
sure. No, that's fine question. I think um, defining what you're really looking for and the people that you're trying to meet, mutual connections are going to be probably the best way to do it, because if somebody is familiar with you and your team and your practice, and they are also know other people that they can make a connection or an introduction to, but you've defined what you're looking for. You're not just saying I want to meet anybody with a Series 7, but somebody that does businesses in a similar way, that has a lot of clients that are close relationships for a number of years. They do financial planning, they do fee-based asset management. They're not a 90% insurance business. They don't have a tremendous amount of annuities in their practice as a percentage of their revenue. you know Things along those lines. If there's a connection who's any professional or friend or attorney or accountant, whatever, who knows you well and knows what you're looking for, I mean, that's going to be a good traffic, I suppose you could put it as.
Hmm. Yes, and we're not talking about actually playing traffic here.
No, of course not.
Awesome, awesome, Matt. Well, we are coming towards the end of our time together. It's been an awesome interview, man. Really, really appreciate you taking the time. My final question for you is an open-ended question. You can take it in any direction that you like, and that question is, what are you working towards?
Sure. So that's certainly a great question, and we're always looking forward in this business. You're either growing or you're dying, and we think very big. So we try to set 5-year goals, 10-year goals, and despite the success that we've had, which we're very grateful, and we do recognize how far we've come in the last 20 years. It's wonderful to get recognition from Ameriprise and be in the chairman's advisory council there, but get outside recognition from Forbes, best in state team, best in state advisor, and other awards that we've received. It's still, it's wonderful, but it's not the end result. It's not good enough. It's never good enough, right? We want to continue to set bigger and bigger goals, which we have, and have a mentality, a 10x mentality. We're very passionate about this business. We want to be more of a household name, be more present in our community and in the country, and be the trusted source for people who want exceptional financial advice and exceptional service. We're passionate about helping our clients achieve a confident retirement and financial success. So, to me, it's about continuing to build the culture, so that everybody is sharing in the same values, and working towards the same collective goal. So we have other
Hmm.
partners and divisions that I haven't mentioned yet on the podcast, and so there's some folks in the New York City and New Jersey area. We have a division in Florida. We have lots of wonderful staff that are very, very talented, and we want to make sure everybody is working together, utilizing the same efficiencies with the same vision and values, so that we can achieve that goal. And everybody needs to know the goal, from, our newest staff member to, myself and my partner. We need to be on the same page and see the vision, hold each other accountable, and make sure that we're working towards it in every way possible each day.
Hmm. Awesome. Awesome. And where can my audience find out more about you and everything you're working on?
Sure. So SiennaWealthAdvisoryGroup.com will link you to our Ameriprise website. You can find me on LinkedIn. Sienna Wealth Advisory Group also has a Facebook page that we're very active on. Um, we have events and webinars that go up on there too that you can take part in. So I think that's the best place to find myself and the team.
Awesome. And we will be sure to link to those in the show notes. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time. You are so um, just I don't know whatever the opposite of like cocky is. Like you're so subdued and just like you know just you're legit, man. You're the real deal. And whenever I pull this up and start one of these, I hope it's you that I'm talking to. So thanks for everything that you're doing, and I love the example you're setting, like not just for the industry, but like for the world as a whole. You're like, okay, if we put our egos aside, we can turn 1x into 10x. We can turn 2 into 10. And I think that that's such a like beautiful example for like, you know, practice success, business success, like success in life, in the world. Like what you and your partner are doing is like, really special and really interesting and just awesome. And I'm excited to continue watching your guys' journey, man. You're young, like you got
Yeah,
you
we
got a
we
hell
we
of a
lucked
career ahead
out.
of you.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. That's very kind
Yeah.
words, and certainly, um, I enjoy being called legit. Legit's good. Legit's good. Opposite of an egomaniac, sure. You know, we keep ourselves in check, right? You
Yeah.
want to continue growing the right way and not get ahead of our skis, if you will. But continue growing in the right path. And we love what we do. We we do it every day, and you want to come to work and be excited about what you do and helping people. And we help so many people, and we've seen the results and the fruits of our labor, and watch the success that our clients have and the things they're able to do, and
Hmm.
then watch the business grow as well. And it's been a beautiful thing for quite a long time, and we got a long runway ahead of us. So I'm excited
Hmm.
about it.
Yeah. Awesome. We'll be excited to keep watching your journey. Matt, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. To all our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in and keep on growing out there, everybody. See ya.